Hello, welcome to another track guide. We're at the Gilles Villeneuve in Canada in the Group 4 Citroën GT. It could be a bit of a tricky track to get right, but once you've got it, it's a really good track. I enjoy it. There is a lot of curb usage, so make sure you are using a lot of curbs on some of these corners. I'll explain them as I go through. But yeah, overall, very enjoyable track. And we'll get into it. Right, so here we are, we'll get ready to start a track. A lap, sorry. Oh, this car does, it will over rev quite a lot, but you want to try and only over rev a little bit to get the gear changed and you climb speed faster that way. If you over rev it more, you're not going to. Right, so just cross the line, coming down to the end of the straight, and your braking marker is going to be the 100. If you're feeling brave, you can try the little orange strip at the end of that barrier just in front of the 100. But while you're getting used to it, go for the 100 first, get that cracked, and we'll go and progress from there. So you want to be quite hard on the brakes to start with, and then a bit of trail braking. So once you've got down a couple of gears, lift half off, and you want to end up in second to go around this corner, taking up quite a bit of the curb. You'll see the big red curb on the apex. Yeah, make sure most of your car's on that, keeping two wheels on the track. Straight over there, and then a little bit of accelerator. When you get to this corner, back on the brakes, down into first. It'll help rotate around this corner because it is actually tighter than it looks. And then when you're starting to straighten up again, you straight back on the accelerator. Squeezing the accelerator, not just slamming it down. And this is what it should look like. So with that corner out of the way, coming up to the next, your braking marker is that 50 board there. It seems really close, but honestly it will make it. You want to be on the brakes, sharp but quickly, knock it down into third, off the brakes, turn in, using a lot of the curves, a big red curb on the apex again, using a lot of that, ready to get your swing round to the other side for the second part of the S-bend. And you want to be back on the accelerator before you hit the second apex. Careful not to get the grass on the left hand side as you go around that second apex, because it will make you slide. Over the curb, back on the accelerator. See, look, I got the grass. Makes you slide. Straight over that curb we've just been, using a lot of it, as much as possible, while keeping two wheels on the track to allow you to get the good angle round this next right-hander, which you want to come in towards the wall and hug the wall. Start wide, obviously, where you are now. You can see there's like a dark tyre marks around the corner. That's the kind of line you want to be looking at, coming in to then hug the wall to go down, ready for the next left-hander. And that should look like this. 50 board your brake, don't forget. over that curb, back on the accelerator, try not to get the grass. As much of this curb as you can, gradually bringing it in to hug the wall, and we're here. Now this next left-hander is quite a sharp one. Again, there's a big red apex curb that you want to use as much of as possible. Start off wide. You'll miss the start of the apex curb as you turn in late, and use as much as the second half of the exit curb as you can to keep over to the left, ready for your next right-hander. Another S-bend here. There's a few on this track. So you'll get plenty of S-bend practice. Your braking zone is the little orange square in the fence. That's your braking zone over here. Don't try and go for the 50 because that's far too late, and you might make the corner still, but you'll be well wide and it'll knock you up for the next corner. So hard on the brakes. Obviously squeeze the brakes. Same with the accelerator. Squeeze the accelerator, not just slamming them all on. Squeeze them fast but smooth, and it'll do wonders to your racing, your handling, and your times. So orange square, orange marker on the right hand side, braking point, hard on, and again trail braking. So you want to be hard on the brakes, knock it down a couple of gears, lift half off the brakes for your trail braking, to then knock it down into second again to take this corner. Stay wide as much as possible to then turn in to take the late apex. Straight over that red. You can go full throttle from there once you straighten up round this one using both curbs. And then you've got a bit of a straight here. This is where you don't want to be over revving. You over rev a little bit, but not massively. This is quite a tricky S-bend chicane. Your brake marker wants to be the 100 bod. Just on the left there, the 100. That's where you want to be braking. You want to make sure you're on the brakes before you hit that shadow of the bridge. If you're on the brakes when you hit the shadow of the bridge, you're going to overcook it. But same again here with your trail braking. Hard on the brakes to start with. Knock it down a couple of gears to third. Half off the brakes. Down into second. Smoothly off the brakes to take the corner in. Wide on this one to come in for the late apex. And avoid the orange sausage curbs, because if you hit them, you're going to bounce around all over the place. Especially in this car. Some cars you can get away with touching them and going over them. This one you can't. So 100 board, hard on the brakes, down 2, half off the brakes, down 1 into second, off the brakes, turn in, and you should be able to, as you touch the apex of the second corner, that's when you want to be back on the throttle, full throttle, fast but smooth inputs, full throttle to take it out and get as wide as you can using all the racetrack. Now we've got the hairpin coming up. The braking point will vary a little bit for this. I personally use the 100 board. If I'm really pushing, I may try the orange square in front of the 100 board. But I think that's far too close, and yeah, it takes a lot of skill to try and get it stopped and round at that point. But you want to be hard on the brakes at the 100 board for most of your braking, straight down into second. As you start to turn in, you'll be lifting off the brakes. So slight trail braking, lift off half as you're turning in, and then half again a split second later. You want to be down into first as you start turning in. to get the rotation on this, and don't accelerate too early because your wheel will be turned quite a lot, and you accelerate too early and full power it, you're going to spin. So when you start to straighten up a bit, squeeze the accelerator on to halfway until you're more or less pretty much straight, then you can go full accelerate. See, look, it's half accelerate, now full. And again with this long straight, you see me over rev a little bit. This car will over rev a lot more than what I'm doing. But when you change gear, the speed increases faster in the next gear rather than holding on to that over rev. Right, we've got another chicane here. Again, my braking point for this one is between the 150 and the 100. Same as the other chicanes. Hard on to start with, down into third, half off the brakes, into second, and round you go. You want to be avoiding the sausage curbs again because they will throw you off, especially on the second corner of the chicane. If you hit that sausage curb, it's going to throw you to the right hand side and you're going straight into the wall. I've seen loads of people do it. I've done it. And you're going to lose a bunch of time, get damage and everything. So hard on the brakes, down into third, half off the brakes, into second, lift off as you're turning, lift off the brakes as you're turning in, and you want to be getting the power back down again on your second apex. When your wheels touch that, you want to be back on the power. They have fast gear changes down there, but with a bit of practice you'll get it, and that's the end of your lap with a 1:45.7. Yeah, I'll play it again without pausing, so you can have a look at other things. You know, you can see the transition between each section and stuff. When you pause it, it breaks it up, and sometimes it doesn't look right. So I'll show you again. Without pausing it. Here we go. Right, so I'll try and explain a bit as we're going through, but it's going to be quick, so I won't be able to explain as much as I did before. We're coming up here, 100 marker, braking zone, down into second, using the curb. Slow down here, down into first to get the rotation. As you start straighten up, full accelerate, using the outside curb, the exit curb all the time, it's great. 50 board, I went down into second there, you do it down into third. Just keep in third, that's fine, get around there, avoid that grass. Plenty of curb there, round, hugging the wall. Orange marker, down into second. Full power as soon as you straighten up from the first corner there, using all the racetrack. Power down the straight, and your braking marker is the 100 board just before the bridge shadow. Down into third, half off the brakes, into second, turn in, back on the accelerator when you straighten up from that first corner. Flat out through here. The braking marker is the 100 board. Down into first to get the rotation. Slowly squeeze the throttle on to make sure your car gets the grip. And flat out without over revving too much. You'll see I over rev a little bit, like I've said. This will over rev a lot more, but don't do it because it will slow you down. So between the 150 and the 100, slam on the brakes, down gears rapidly, avoiding them sausage curbs, and back on the power when you hit the second apex. And that's your lap. hopefully it's helpful. For those who are racing next week on this track with these cars in the championship, that's me on softs. So you got an idea of, you know, the faster group, what kind of times they're going to be putting in. It will be a bit faster than that, but that's on softs. Obviously, we've got the tyre offset, so we're actually going to be on hards. So if you can get that time consistently 145, 146 on the soft tyres against us on the hards, you're going to beat us hands down, because you're going to add maybe 3 seconds on, 2.5 to 3 seconds for the hard tyres extra. So we're probably going to be doing I can just about get into the 144s. So I'm going to be doing 147s. So you're going to be at least a second ahead if you do 146 every lap. That's my prediction anyway. So yeah, hope it helped. And I'll see you on the track.